Welcome and good morning, everyone. It is 10 o'clock, and that means it is time to get started on this wonderful Wednesday morning. My name is Randy Lober, Growth Marketing Manager here at Action Benefits, and part of my role, and in fact, the biggest part of my role, is helping you, the independent agents that we support here at Action Benefits, grow your business. And one way we can do that is providing you some salient tips and tricks to help you improve your marketing game, right? For a number of reasons. Helps you access leads, helps you retain clients when they're more aware of you. And today's session is really all about multi-channel marketing, where we'll explore the value and the reasons why it might be a good idea to do two things at once and not just one thing at once in this particular case. So the big question is, why this session? Why now? Why are we talking about marketing here at the beginning of August, actually? It's no longer July anymore. And the big reason is because by the time AEP arrives, you're not competing for customers' attention anymore. You're not competing for prospect attention anymore. You're fighting for scraps. You're fighting for whatever is left. So we want to talk about marketing now and getting your message out in front of folks now to help you get ahead of that noise. And multi-channel marketing is one of the best ways to do that. And even if you haven't started yet, maybe the best time was to start, a few months ago. The next best time is right now. So that's what we wanted to help you accomplish today. We are going to talk about a few different things here today. We're going to talk about why you should start soon. Why is now the next best time to start? We'll talk about the rule of 7 and why it's important to understand in terms of consumer psychology and how they relate to your business, whether or not they choose to buy with or from you. We'll talk briefly about building your multi-channel strategy. What does it mean to build that strategy? What do you have to think about? We'll give you some budget-friendly approaches that work here in this case, some things you can do with relatively low spend on your part, but potentially better reward. We will propose a 90-day action plan that you might follow to help you get started today, and we'll tell you how we can help you execute that action plan here at Action Benefits. So before we get started here today, we want to know a little bit more about your current marketing approaches. How would you describe your current marketing approach? Is it A, you use one main channel? Maybe you only use social media, or you only use postcards or mailers or something of the sort. Is it B, that you use two different channels work together? Do you use social media and direct mail? Do you use radio ads and billboards working together? What's your mix look like? Do you use multiple channels? You're working in a variety of different market ways to get in front of consumers, or is your current marketing approach more like D? What marketing? I rely on referrals. Go ahead and put the letter that best describes your approach in the chat, please. Just want to give a sense, or get a sense rather, of where your heads are at. Okay, and good mix of folks, either what marketing I rely on referrals or one main channel. Maybe you're only working on social media, you're looking at LinkedIn and maybe Facebook or some other stuff here as well. Good to know that we can use all that going forward here to really kind of propel the conversation. And I'll make the case that you might want to invest in at least two channels going forward, doing two things here at once. The reason why you might want to do that is every Medicare eligible from the months of October through December looks like our good pal B. Arthur here. They're saying enough already. Why? Why are they saying enough already? They're seeing all those carrier ads on TV for their Medicare programs. They're seeing all those billboards all over the nation on every highway. They're seeing call centers wrapping up their lead generation techniques. You're seeing local competitors of yours increasing their ad spend. And what happens is message saturation occurs. They literally cannot or will not pay attention to anything else that you have to say if you throw your voice in the mix. So when everything is loud, right, when there's loud noises all around you, there's all these different static and signals coming in. The result is that nobody, including you and your advertising, gets heard clearly. So how do you stand out? How do you cut through that noise? You stand out by starting early, like now, and you stand out by working across multiple media channels. Give you an example of what we're talking about here. Coca Cola is a brand we can learn a lot from in this regard, and they're fairly universal. You might have run into them throughout your life here. but want to kind of explain to you some of the psychology of behind Coca Cola so we can transfer it over to your insurance practice. First thing you would probably note around about Coca Cola is that they don't wait for hot summer days like today to advertise to you, right? They don't advertise when you're thirsty. They advertise throughout the year so that to build that brand and product awareness. So when you're thirsty, your first thought is, I need a Coke. And they also use a variety of media or marketing channels year round to reach you. You might see billboards and hashtags like this. You might see their own products advertising here, right? You see the Santa cans throughout the year. You'll see TV commercials, halftime Coke time, right? Lots of different ways they're reminding you that Coca-Cola still exists. And I would argue that your insurance practice needs a similar approach, because when you start marketing in October, folks are already overwhelmed. They're already thirsty. They're looking for the first thing that looks or sounds good. But when you start now, you start in August, actually you start in June, July, September, you're talking to consumers where they don't need you quite yet, but you're building awareness for yourself in the background. And that's key, right? And a good example of how this works in the insurance industry is one of our agents used some ads in a shopping cart at their local grocery store, and also had social media ads go around that same grocery store, so folks in the checkout line and whatnot would see his face on both their shopping cart and their cell phone feed, their social media feed as they're scrolling and while they're waiting for their Starbucks or whatever it happens to be. So because he was doing that, he was in front of them all the time. Prospects called him, not because of his latest ad, but because was recognizable. He was someone that they knew they could talk to. So why did that work for him? What's the psychology behind that? Why does Coca-Cola run ads year round? Why did that agent run ads in two different places, the shopping cart and the social media feed? The answer is long-held marketing wisdom called the rule of 7. And it's a rule that you can use in your favor too. The rule of 7 says this: on average, consumers need to see or interact with a brand about 7 times before they're ready to make a decision with it or even decide to engage with you. And while they might not think exactly these words, here is generally what the social science says about what those stages look like or what happens after each exposure. First time they see your message, they see your face, they see your name, they're going to think, who is this guy? Who is this gal? Why are they in front of me? Second time they see you, they're going to go, oh, I remember seeing that person before. The third time they see you, oh, this person's established. I've seen him, on my social media feed, and I've seen him on this billboard, and I've seen him over here. Maybe they know what they're talking about. The fourth time they see you, maybe I should learn more. Here, they could be compelled finally to Google you, right? After seeing you running into your name, your face, your service offerings a few times. At the 5th time, this seems relevant to me. I might be in the market for insurance soon, or I might be in the market for insurance coming up very soon. The 6th is I should probably reach out, right? And we can all relate to that. I do need an oil change. I should probably go schedule that, or whatever the case might be, but you're not ready to take that action yet. And finally, the 7th time they see you, the consumer says, okay, I'm ready to act. I feel the need here. I feel the pain. I know this person is someone I want to talk to at least and investigate whether or not they can actually help me out here. So that's the same reason Coca-Cola advertises year round, right? It's a race to 7. They want to get in front of you 7 times before you're thirsty. So you're their first thought when you go to buy something or go to order a drink at the restaurant. Same reason why your insurance practice needs to get in front of consumers at least 7 times before consumers are ready to act. They want that brand familiarity with you. They want to know that they can see you, they can trust you, and they see you around everywhere here. So how do you get there, especially between now and AEP starts? The answer is multi-channel marketing. Now, we've thrown that term around here a few times. I want to kind of think about what your hesitations might be here as before we go into it so I can help maybe disarm some of those going forward. Do you think you don't have enough time to manage your marketing going forward? Or maybe you don't know where to market? or you're worried about the cost, or you don't know how to measure your results or what those might look like, would you please put any or all letters that best apply to you here about your concerns with marketing in the chat here? We'll try and work through some of those in the next few moments we spend together here today. So A, B, C, or D, or any of those letters as they apply to you. April's very honest. She comes in with all of them. I see a Q&A here coming in here. We see folks saying, I'm worried about the cost. I don't know what I'm going to spend here. Cost can certainly be a barrier here, right? Especially if you're just starting out, you're a fledgling here. Absolutely see that. Other people saying, I don't know what channels to choose. Is social media better for me? Is a website better for me? Lots of things to try and solve here. And while we can't solve all of them here in the next time we have together, we can certainly solve them when you call into us, when you talk to us about whatever is on your mind. But we'll try and walk you through some of these high-level concerns going forward here. So we want to talk first about multi-channel marketing in a nutshell. What do I mean by that? And we mean that it's ideal, right, in that race to 7 to get to 7 touches so the consumer is ready to buy from you. You want to broadcast your brand, your message, your voice through multiple media simultaneously. So not just sticking to social media, but social media and something else. The reason why it works, again, is kind of building on that rule of 7, is because you're racing against consumer memory. They might run into you 7 times, but with ads literally everywhere you go, and attention spans shorter than they've been since people have been studying attention spans. Even if they do see you 7 times between now and AEP, that might not be enough to get you there, right? Or enough to get them over the hump to reach out to you. So you want to get those 7 times in fairly close succession so they don't forget you, right? So you stay top of mind with you. When they have multiple touch points with you, so they see you on their phone, they see you on their shopping cart, they see you on their ads, they see you on a billboard if that's in your budget, they know you're legit, right? They know that you, they build a perception that you're someone with the time, attention, and resources to spend in getting their attention and therefore helping them. What also happens is that your channels can reinforce each other to some extent here as well. You can build on the messages between things. You can send your book of business an email to prospect for a new line of business or a new carrier you're writing, while also having a social media ad that targets them at the same time, right? So those channels can complement each other, work together to get in your race to 7 here as well. And it helps you reach people where they are. Yes, lots of people use social media, but not everyone does. Lots of people go to the shopping market, but not everyone does. In fact, you might have DoorDash or Ship to go and do your groceries instead, right? And then if you are advertising to the Ship shopper, you're probably not getting in front of all the people you'd want to get in front of. So something to worry about there as well. And that's again a reason why you want to consider more channels, not fewer. And I know what you're thinking. The 2 common objections we see here, I don't have time to manage all this, and this sounds expensive. Both of those can be true, but I want to help you out with 2 of those here going forward. First thing is we always recommend for agents first stepping in here is that you start small with 2 complementary channels. So, and usually, and I'll give you some examples here in just a moment, is social media plus something else. We start with social media, generally speaking, because it's probably one of the cheapest spots you can start with your marketing spend. For as little as $5 a day, you can get in front of 500 folks that are near you, and that's a fairly good deal, all things considered. The second thing is, though, it can sound expensive, but I would challenge you and say that most of the strategies we'll talk about here today, and we can talk about price points in individual calls here, but most strategies cost you less than 1 commission, whether that's a Medicare Advantage or a marketplace commission or anything else in between. You sell 1 more contract this year because of the marketing efforts you put in, likely you're going to see a good break-even point with a lot of the stuff we'll talk about here today. And we would always say that it's better to spend strategically than to spend big. A lot of folks, when they first get into advertising, get into marketing and work on this, they try to do everything all at once. They try and spend thousands of dollars on 1 campaign and try and get it out there. We would always recommend the opposite, actually. Spend $5, $10, $15 for a few days on more targeted audience and see how that message resonates with that audience. So you have the opportunity to adjust, track, and measure all throughout, and really tune your message to get in your audience, to get in front of the folks that you want to get in front of and are more likely to give you business. Again, happy to have conversations with anyone that has other concerns here, but those are the two objections we run into fairly often. So in your shoes, especially if you're worried about cost, where are some good places to start? We always want to balance what you can manage with where your audience is likely to be. So you'll see here that social media carries in fairly, regularly throughout the options we present here for you. But there's also a number of things you can use to complement that social media, especially if there's some things you're already doing. You could have your social media campaigns or your social media work and combine that with email marketing. Or if you don't already have one, you can have a newsletter, right, that talks about things happening in and around your office, your industry, talking to you, the people you're already doing business with, and really help build their awareness and make them aware that you're still their agent, right? You're still there to help them. You have multiple solutions you can offer them with. For targeted direct mail, right? Again, if you before enrollment season, if you have a flyer that goes out and says, "Hi, I'm your local insurance agent," and they see social media that works along with that, those two messages can complement each other. And again, helps you win that race to 7 faster than your local competitors might be. That out-of-house advertising like billboards and shopping carts are another way you can pair there. The shopping cart campaign we talked about a few moments ago is a good way to do that. Oftentimes you can do these for fairly low cost here, higher effort, but lower cost. Start blogging about things, right? Or making video logs, read through articles, talk about industry insights here. In one portion, use social media to drive people to those posts, to those reports you're making here, and really build your credibility that way. And you can also work at local events. We are in prime festival and fair season here, right? So maybe get a kiosk, a booth, or whatever, or a table, whatever it is you want to call it. And also target your social media ads to pop up around there. So while the kids are in line for the tilt-a-whirl at the local fair, mom and dad are checking their phone while they're scrolling and going, "Gosh, I don't want to get on this thing again." They have an opportunity to see your name, see your face on their phone, then come over and talk to you a little bit later on. Again, helps you, that's 2 touches right away, helps you on that race to 7 before they get going. And you see all the combinations here. I would always recommend that you repurpose your content. So you don't need to think about different things to say on each platform, although you do need to think about the messages that resonate best on each platform. So if I have one key idea that I'm working on, right? Maybe I want to work on disruptions in the Medicare Part D market because there's going to be a ton of them this year, right? We're going to see more deductibles. We're going to see leaner benefits. We're definitely going to see higher premiums in the Medicare Part D market. So you can talk about those underlying reasons. There's a lot of things you can do with an idea, right? You could write a blog post about that and drive traffic to your website that way. You can email your folks about that. Say, "Hey, I just wrote this. Come read more detail about it here," or "Come watch this video that I've made for you here." You can have those, again, spread that same message on your social media. You might have infographics or visual representations for that as well, along with that videos or even direct mail, right? A really catchy explainer that shows them what's going to happen. But all that content can come from one idea. I don't need 7 different ideas to get in front of people for those 7 touches. Maybe if I have one message, but find 7 different ways to get in front of folks, that's what I'm really looking to do here, right? So a little bit of working smarter, not harder in this case. The other thing agents also kind of come to us with is, those are good ideas, I hear you, but literally, how do I do it? When do I do it? And the one thing we advocate for is building a sustainable schedule. If you're, and these here are examples, especially for folks that might be just starting out. If you're not already emailing your clients on a monthly or weekly basis, highly encourage you to think about starting that or when you might start that, and spend some time on one day of the week crafting that newsletter, adding some content into that. Maybe you're pulling a few articles to put into that you can put in front of your clients later to help reinforce your expertise and knowledge in the industry. Maybe you spend an hour the next day thinking about your social media posts. And if you are running ads, can afford to run ads again, you can start as little as $5 a day. Think about what those mean and monitoring your progress there week to week to seeing, okay, is this working for me? Do I need to turn it off? Do I need to put more spend into it because I'm getting a lot of results from this and I want to optimize for that? Maybe on Thursday, you're taking some time to reach out to customers. I want to talk to more about Katie that I just helped with her hospital indemnity plan. I know she just filed the claim. Can she talk a little bit about how, my help in filing that claim, my help in selling her that policy in the first place, really saved her bacon when she went into the hospital. Maybe I spend another day scouting out or looking for my next local events. The key is that you always want to define a when and stick to it when you're thinking about marketing. Oftentimes, we see a lot of folks do this and become guilty of this. They start off with a few ideas here, right, of things that they want to do. But if they don't build it out in their calendar, they don't make time for it, they don't actually give themselves a busy block in the calendar, their efforts fall to the wayside. And that can get really frustrating really fast. So we always encourage our agents that we support to be consistent with whatever it is they choose to do. The other thing is how do you know that what you're doing is working? And really what you want to do is making sure that you can track what is happening per each of your channels here. What is your cost per channel? So your email marketing, especially if you have a free platform like a MailChimp or something of the sort, that might not cost you anything but time, but your social media spend might cost you some capital there. So measure that. Then how many leads are you generating from that? Are you getting referrals or are you getting leads from your social media? From there, are they moving further down the funnel? Do those leads you're getting in those, hi, I might be interested in insurance, hand raises, turn into appointments that you set? How often do those appointments convert into policies? And are you really seeing the return on your investment? And it's really key to measure each step of that funnel as customers move through it, as prospects move through it. So you can get a sense of where customers are paying attention to you and where they're not. So you can adapt and improvise and measure over time. Building out that measurement can be tough. We are happy to help you think with you about that, about what that looks like for your business. All you need to do is give us an email or a call, and I'm happy to work through that with you. But the big thing you want to also keep attention to or pay attention to is asking your prospects, where did you hear about me, right? That helps you figure out whether they are seeing your social media ads or whether it was an email or a word of mouth that got them to you, right? You can kind of track that progress throughout here as well. And as you do so, you can make some data-driven decisions about what comes next. So what we want to do here today, as we promised at the top of the hour, is talk a little bit about an action plan, right? We're here in early August. What can you do to get in front of consumers before AEP and really start thinking about what comes next for you? And really, we kind of think about this in 5 or so stages going forward. With our goal is to be an established or have an established marketing presence before AEP and all that noise with all the billboards and Joe Namath and Jimmy Walker getting in front of everyone, confusing everyone, and leaving you no way to cut through it. So starting here in weeks 1 and 2, and this may be a quick process if you don't have much marketing going on already, is audit your current efforts and choose at least 2 channels that you want to focus on. So if you're already running ads, you're already making social media posts, are you seeing traffic for them? Are you seeing appointments? Are they converting or not? Whether they are or they aren't, use that data to figure out, okay, what's next for me? And again, I'd encourage you to start with 2 channels, maybe 1 free. So think about emailing your current book of business that generally, depending on your AMS or your free platforms, and again, we can recommend some to you here as well. That's 1 platform, 1 way to get in front of people. Second one is likely a social media channel, but that doesn't mean you can't spend on direct mail or anything else to help get in front of people either. Either way, simplest place to start is with 2 things you want to do. After that, in weeks 3 to 4, so starting by the end of this month, a good place to be is just setting up your systems. So what do I want to talk about in my social media posts? What do I want to talk about emails? in my emails and really kind of calendaring that out between now and the end of your campaigns at the end of AEP. You also want to kind of set up some of your systems, right? So what day am I going to do what? What blocks of times am I dedicating to social media, to managing my newsletter, to monitoring, measuring, to gathering client testimonials? When am I going to do those things? In weeks 5 through 8, so really all of September, you've got time to execute, right? And see how your strategy works. To measure, are you getting feedback from these? Are customers hearing you? Are you getting leads? Are you getting appointments set? Are you selling those appointments going forward? And that gives you some time to really figure out if what you're doing is working or not. And then as you get into AEP, October, weeks 9 through 12, again, you can analyze that performance and optimize, tweak it to get in front of consumers you want to get in front of. And again, you'll be established here in weeks 5 through 8 in September as things go forward here. And again, you'll be on your way to winning that race to 7 touches, so consumers are ready to reach out to you come AEP. So if that's kind of the big picture, where to go, here is what I would ask you to do next, right? And many of you in the room have an account manager here at Action Benefits. If not, I'm happy to serve in this role here for you going forward, or any of our individual team can as well. Here's what I ask you to do before next Wednesday, so to speak. I want to know a little bit about, or I want you to know a little bit about what's happening with your current marketing and what's not working, and to choose those first 2 channels. Again, if you think about social media, that's kind of broad. Likely, if you're targeting Medicare eligibles, Facebook and Instagram are where you want to be. For the most part, something like 65% of baby boomers in the US do have a Facebook account. That's where they tend to hang out. So that's a good place to start. And then block time on your calendar for starting that. And think about one piece of content, one big idea you can repurpose among your 2 channels. So if you're thinking about YouTube content, which you can put together for fairly low cost in social media or YouTube and email, what's that one big idea that you think you can talk credibly about and get in front of consumers for a bit? And once you've got that done, by next Wednesday, either I'd love to hear from you at rlober@actionbenefits.com, or your Action Benefits account manager on the individual team would love to hear from you as well, to really think about what you're going to do and what comes next for you. And the reason why we want to hear from you is because we at Action Benefits here are your field marketing organization, or emphasis on the marketing. So what can we do? Well, what we're doing now, where we're talking about consulting and strategy support. What comes next for you? Where do you want to focus? What do you want to get done in terms of marketing? There are occasions where we have access to additional funding opportunities through our carrier partners. Carriers want us to sell, carriers want you to sell, and they often provide funding to help us do so. And so we can help access some of those funds where available. We can also help you really zero in on what exactly might work for your particular area. We have access to a bunch of demographic data that can show you, yeah, you've got a lot of baby boomers living in these neighborhoods around you. What are some of the best ways to reach them? Well, maybe social media, maybe some other things, or maybe you've got more Gen Xers or more Gen Zers who might be in the market for marketplace insurance. We can help you identify those areas too. And again, we're really good at helping you make sense of the results. If you're willing to share those with us, we can help you figure out what's working, what's not, and what might come next for you. We're not here for a long time today, but we are here for a good time. I do encourage you to start, as for some big takeaways, to start now. Don't wait till October. Don't wait till customers are thirsty. Instead, start with that year-round message, because multi-channel marketing and doing that before now and then gets you that magic 7 touches even faster. Pick 2 things you want to get good at and repurpose content among those 2 things to save time. Measure results and adjust accordingly, as we've talked about. We can help you build that measurement platform going forward, and know that we here at Action Benefits are here to help. A lot we've talked about in the past half hour. I do encourage your questions here. We built in some time for some open conversation, should you desire that. So if there's any questions you have about choosing the right channels for your market location, or getting started with a limited time and budget, measuring your success, how your content creation, or how to create content, and where you want to work with that, or working with Action for support, what could that look like for you? I'm happy to answer those over the next few moments, and stand by for those. Please either use the chat or Q&A to put those messages in. And while you are getting your typing fingers ready, I do want to thank you for your time and attention here today. As always, you can always find us good marketing tips, good industry insights on LinkedIn at the Action Benefits Company. You can always email me at learning@actionbenefits.com or reach out to us at 248-356-8585. I'll go ahead and pause the recording now just so we don't have a bunch of dead end air on the end of the line later for folks that might be watching this later on. But happy to stick around for any questions you might have going forward.